What if I told you that the wrinkles we see in the mirror are not merely a reflection of time passing, but of biological signals we can actually influence? That the story of aging is not entirely written in stone, that some chapters remain unwritten, waiting for us to author them with science, lifestyle, and intention. Hello everyone, and welcome back. If you are passionate about natural health and evidence-based wellness, you have found your tribe. For those just joining our journey into the frontier of human potential, welcome. We are thrilled to have you here. Be sure to hit that like button if this resonates and subscribe so you never miss our explorations into longevity, genetics, and human optimization. We would love to know where our community spans. Drop your city or country in the comments below. Today we are venturing into a topic that may seem deceptively simple: cheese. Yes, the humble, savory, nourishing product of milk, yet within its complex chemistry lie compounds that speak directly to the biology of skin, resilience, and aging. Emerging research from dermatology and nutritional science reveals that certain cheeses are not just indulgences. They can activate cellular pathways, reduce inflammation, and even promote collagen synthesis, the very scaffolding that keeps skin smooth, plump, and youthful. At the heart of this is a truth often overlooked. Aging is not a passive process. Every wrinkle, every fine line is a message from our cells, from oxidative stress, from the breakdown of structural proteins, from subtle inflammatory signals. And the remarkable insight of modern science is that these processes are, in large part, programmable. Studies from laboratories at Harvard Medical School, Kyoto University, and the University of California indicate that nutrients in fermented dairy can act as biochemical signals, nudging our skin cells toward repair, regeneration, and resilience. So today we will explore 3 cheeses not as a culinary indulgence, but as tools for biological rejuvenation. Together, we will uncover how molecules in these cheeses interact with our cells, how they influence collagen, elastin, and antioxidant defenses, and how including them mindfully in your diet could become a simple yet profound act of self-care, a form of daily, edible medicine for your skin and your future. Before we dive in, ask yourself, what if every meal could be a conversation with your cells, an opportunity not just to nourish, but to regenerate, to protect, to enhance the very essence of your vitality? Today, we are about to find out. When we think about youthful skin, we often imagine its smoothness, its resilience, its glow in the morning light. But beneath that surface lies a microscopic architecture, a scaffolding of collagen and elastin that defines how supple and strong our skin remains over decades. As we age, this scaffold begins to degrade. Collagen fibers fray, elastin stretches and loses recoil, and the skin's capacity to regenerate slows. This is what creates wrinkles, sagging, and the subtle flattening of our natural contours. Yet science tells us that this process is far from inevitable. Fibroblasts, the specialized cells responsible for producing collagen and elastin, are dynamic. They respond to signals in our environment, to the molecules we consume, and to the small chemical whispers from nutrients in our diet. And here is where an unexpected ally enters the picture: cheese. Aged cheeses, such as Parmesan, Gouda, and aged cheddar, contain bioactive peptides, small chains of amino acids released during fermentation. Research from the University of Tokyo has shown that these peptides can stimulate fibroblast activity, enhancing collagen synthesis in the dermis. Think of these peptides as molecular foremen. They do not construct the building themselves, but they coordinate the workers, telling fibroblasts where and when to produce collagen and elastin, reinforcing the scaffolding that supports your skin. This is not abstract biochemistry. It is a process we can influence through our daily choices. Incorporating a small serving of aged cheese into your diet a few times a week may deliver these signaling peptides directly to your bloodstream. Once absorbed, they reach your skin and engage in molecular conversations that were previously thought to be the domain of topical treatments or invasive procedures. Consider the analogy of a suspension bridge. The steel cables represent collagen. The elastic components represent elastin. Over time, without maintenance, the bridge sags. But if engineers carefully reinforce key cables and tighten connections, the bridge regains strength and resilience. In the same way, targeted nutrients in cheese provide your fibroblasts the cues and raw materials needed to restore structural integrity at the microscopic level. Practical application is straightforward. Opt for cheeses that are naturally aged at least 12 months, as they contain higher concentrations of bioactive peptides. Combine this with vitamin C-rich foods such as bell peppers or berries, which act as cofactors for collagen synthesis. Together, you create a synergy. Raw materials plus signaling molecules, a combination that tells your skin it's time to rebuild. Ask yourself, have you noticed areas of your skin that feel thinner, less resilient, or dry? These are not just cosmetic concerns, they are biological signals, messages from your cells indicating that scaffolding repair is needed. By responding thoughtfully with nutrient-rich foods like these cheeses, you are actively participating in the dialogue with your own biology. Finally, there is a deeper reflection here. Rebuilding your cellular scaffold is not about vanity, it is about resilience. It is about equipping your skin, your body's largest organ, with the structural integrity to endure life's stresses while maintaining its vitality. Every bite of carefully chosen cheese becomes a small act of self-compassion, an acknowledgement that we can influence our biology with knowledge, intention, and taste. If aging were a clock, oxidative stress would be the subtle but relentless ticking, unseen, and yet inexorably shaping the passage of time. Each free radical, each unstable molecule is like a tiny saboteur, seeking to damage the DNA, proteins, and lipids that keep our skin resilient. Wrinkles, dullness, and sagging are not merely cosmetic outcomes. They are the visible signatures of a biological narrative written by oxidative stress. Fortunately, biology gives us tools to intervene. Certain cheeses, particularly those that are aged and rich in nutrients such as selenium, zinc, and glutathione precursors, act as molecular firefighters. They neutralize free radicals before they can disrupt the delicate machinery of our skin. Research from the Department of Dermatology at Harvard Medical School has shown that dietary antioxidants can reduce markers of oxidative damage in the skin, improving elasticity, and even mitigating pigmentation irregularities. Consider the analogy of sunlight on a river. Free radicals are like the glinting, sharp rays that can erode the riverbank over time, while antioxidants are the stones, plants, and soil that stabilize the banks, preventing collapse. Every time we introduce an antioxidant-rich food, we are reinforcing the riverbank maintaining structure, preventing damage, and preserving the flow of life within our tissues. Aged cheeses are particularly powerful because they contain amino acid derivatives that support the production of glutathione, one of the body's most potent endogenous antioxidants. In one study from Kyoto University, fermented dairy products were shown to increase glutathione activity in both the bloodstream and skin cells. In practical terms, a modest portion of aged Gouda, or Gruyere, combined with a diet rich in colorful fruits and vegetables, can enhance your skin's resilience to oxidative stress, a biological hedge against the visible signs of aging. Ask yourself, have you noticed how your skin reacts to stress, pollution, or even a late night? These external pressures amplify oxidative stress, accelerating the ticking of your cellular clock. By consciously incorporating antioxidant-rich foods into your daily routine, you are, in effect, installing brakes on this biological timer, giving your skin and your cells a chance to repair, regenerate, and shine. From a philosophical perspective, managing oxidative stress is about more than skin health. It is a metaphor for how we engage with life's challenges. Do we let small pressures accumulate unchecked, or do we intervene thoughtfully, creating an environment where resilience can flourish? Each bite of carefully chosen cheese becomes a quiet act of defense, a moment of agency over the forces of time. For practical application, aim to pair your cheese intake with antioxidant cofactors. Fresh berries, leafy greens, or a handful of nuts provide complementary nutrients that enhance glutathione activity and stabilize free radicals. Together, these foods orchestrate a symphony of protection, allowing your cells not just to survive, but to thrive. And if this insight is helping you, consider subscribing. There's more where this came from. Our goal is not just to understand aging, but to engage with it, to decode the biology of resilience, and to create practical, delicious pathways for rejuvenation. If our skin tells the story of our age, then our gut writes the preface. The gut-skin axis is one of the most profound discoveries in human biology. Our intestinal microbiome, the trillions of bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms living in harmony within us, communicates constantly with our skin. These microbial messengers influence inflammation, hydration, immune response, and even the production of collagen. The question becomes, how do we send the right signals to this microbial orchestra so that our skin can flourish? Fermented cheeses offer a surprisingly elegant answer. Varieties like Gouda, Camembert, and aged blue cheeses are not merely fermented for flavor. They are incubated with beneficial bacteria that produce bioactive compounds. Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium strains present in these cheeses interact with our gut lining and immune system, creating chemical signals that reach the skin. Researchers at the University of California, San Diego have shown that probiotic consumption can reduce markers of skin inflammation and enhance hydration even in older adults. In other words, the microbes we feed can feed our skin. Think of it as a diplomatic dialogue. Your gut microbes are ambassadors, interpreting your diet and sending messages to distant organs. When we provide them with fermented cheese, it is like offering carefully prepared instructions. Support collagen integrity, reduce inflammation, enhance barrier function. In turn, our skin responds with improved tone, elasticity, and glow. Practically, you can cultivate this conversation with simple habits. Include a small portion, perhaps 30 grams of probiotic-rich cheese a few times a week. Pair it with prebiotic foods like asparagus, onions, or garlic, which feed the beneficial microbes and enhance their signaling capabilities. Over time, this combination strengthens the gut-skin axis, supporting not only the outward appearance of the skin, but also the internal resilience of your immune system and metabolism. Have you noticed how stress, diet, or antibiotics affect your skin? Redness, dullness, or unexpected breakouts are often microbiome signals, your gut telling you it needs balance. By consciously incorporating fermented cheeses, you are responding to these messages with precision and care, rather than just masking symptoms with topical creams. Philosophically, this insight invites a broader reflection. Aging is often framed as a solo journey of the self, yet biology reminds us of interdependence. The trillions of microorganisms within us are collaborators in our vitality. Eating fermented cheese is not merely a dietary choice, it is an act of partnership with our own internal ecosystem. Every bite becomes a handshake with our microbiome, a commitment to nurture resilience and beauty from within. In this light, cheese is more than a food. It is a signal, a bridge between what we consume and the skin we inhabit. The glow that emerges is not just surface level, it is the visible manifestation of a conversation that has taken place at the cellular, microbial, and systemic level. Inflammation is often described as the body's natural defense, a hero that protects us from harm. Yet, when it becomes chronic, subtle, persistent, and silent, it transforms into a hidden saboteur, accelerating the aging of our skin. Fine lines deepen, elasticity diminishes, and the glow of youth fades, not from lack of effort, but from a biological storm quietly raging beneath the surface. How do we calm this storm without resorting to synthetic interventions? Science points toward an unexpected ally: cheese. Certain cheeses, particularly those that are rich in short-chain fatty acids and bioactive lipids, think aged goat cheese or cultured sheep's cheese, have remarkable anti-inflammatory properties. Research from the Department of Nutritional Sciences at the University of Cambridge shows that these compounds interact with immune pathways, reducing the secretion of pro-inflammatory cytokines in the skin. Essentially, these nutrients act like molecular diplomats, negotiating peace among the cells, instructing them to repair rather than attack neighboring tissues. To understand this, consider a forest recovering from wildfire. Left unchecked, invasive species take over, soil erodes, and regeneration is stunted. But with careful intervention, planting stabilizing flora, restoring balance, the forest thrives again. In the same way, bioactive compounds and fermented cheeses help restore harmony in the skin's cellular environment, reducing the chronic inflammatory signals that accelerate wrinkle formation. Practically, including small portions of these cheeses several times a week can be transformative. Pair them with polyphenol-rich foods like dark leafy greens or berries, which complement their anti-inflammatory action. This creates a synergistic network of protection. The cheese modulates inflammatory pathways while other nutrients support repair and antioxidant activity. Over time, the skin becomes not only smoother but resilient, better able to withstand environmental stressors like UV exposure, pollution, or dietary stress. Ask yourself, how does your skin respond to stress, physical, emotional, or dietary? Redness, puffiness, and subtle sagging are often whispers of an internal storm. By integrating anti-inflammatory cheeses into your diet, you are responding with intention, teaching your cells that calm and repair are not only possible, but expected. There is a deeper lesson here. Aging is not merely about decline, it is about how gracefully we navigate the inevitable stressors life presents. Just as we learn to manage emotional turbulence through mindfulness or meditation, we can teach our cells to modulate their inflammatory responses through targeted nutrition. Every bite of anti-inflammatory cheese becomes an act of cellular diplomacy, a quiet commitment to resilience, balance, and the beauty of a well-tended inner ecosystem. And if this resonates, consider subscribing each week. We explore practical, science-based tools that help you align daily habits with your biology, creating a foundation not just for longer life, but for more vibrant, resilient years. Imagine your DNA as a vast library with millions of instructions encoded in its pages. Every gene has a purpose, a timing, a context. As we age, some of these instructions begin to lose their clarity. Important repair genes are silenced while pathways that accelerate aging become more active. This is the language of epigenetics, the subtle marks on our DNA that regulate which instructions are read and which remain dormant. The exciting revelation of modern science is that this language is flexible, dynamic, responsive, and open to influence. Here is where certain cheeses enter the narrative. Varieties like Gruyere, Emmental, and other aged, nutrient-rich cheeses are excellent sources of B vitamins, particularly B12 and folate. These nutrients are key cofactors in methylation, the epigenetic process that adds chemical tags to DNA, effectively turning genes on or off. Research from the Linus Pauling Institute and the Buck Institute for Research on Aging demonstrates that proper methylation supports the expression of genes involved in skin repair, collagen synthesis, and anti-inflammatory pathways. In other words, by choosing the right foods, we can help rewrite the instructions that guide our skin's health. Think of this as tending to a musical score. Without careful attention, notes may be misread, rhythms become inconsistent, and the music of your biology loses harmony. By providing the right nutrients, we help the musicians, your cellular machinery, interpret the score accurately, producing the symphony of youthful gene expression that keeps skin vibrant and resilient. Practically a small serving of these nutrient-rich cheeses, combined with leafy greens, legumes, or whole grains, provides a rich source of methylation cofactors. Over time, this pairing can help maintain optimal epigenetic regulation, supporting both skin structure and overall cellular health. The effect is subtle but cumulative. Smoother texture, firmer skin, and a biological environment that favors repair and longevity. Ask yourself, how often do you consider that your skin's aging is not only about damage or loss, but about miscommunication at the genetic level? By consciously feeding your epigenetic machinery the nutrients it needs, you are participating in a quiet, profound dialogue with your own DNA, influencing how it reads, interprets, and executes its instructions. There is a philosophical resonance here. Aging need not be a passive surrender to time. By understanding and influencing the epigenetic signals in our cells, we reclaim agency not over the inevitability of life, but over the quality, resilience, and vitality with which we live it. Each bite of aged cheese becomes a mindful, delicious act of empowerment, an intimate partnership with our biology, and a tangible demonstration of hope in the science of human potential. When we think about skin vitality, hydration is often the first metric that comes to mind. But hydration is not simply about drinking water. It is about the intricate interplay of lipids, proteins, and cellular structure that allows our skin to hold moisture, maintain elasticity, and resist the stresses of daily life. This is the moisture matrix, a sophisticated network where fats act as the glue that binds water to our skin, ensuring both suppleness and resilience. Certain cheeses, particularly high-fat, aged varieties such as Brie, Roquefort, and Emmental, are rich sources of essential fatty acids. These fats integrate into skin cell membranes, improving barrier function, reducing transepidermal water loss, and helping cells retain hydration. Research from the University of California and the Department of Dermatology at Charité in Berlin indicates that dietary lipids play a crucial role in skin barrier integrity, particularly in older adults, where natural lipid production declines. By providing these nutrients through foods like cheese, we are delivering the raw materials for our cells to maintain hydration and structural balance from the inside out. Imagine a sponge. It only holds water when its matrix of fibers and pores is intact. If the fibers are weakened or damaged, the sponge dries out quickly, no matter how much water you pour on it. In the same way, our skin requires both structural integrity and lipid content to maintain moisture. High-fat cheeses supply the building blocks that reinforce this matrix, allowing water to be held effectively and cells to function optimally. For practical application, including a modest portion of these cheeses a few times per week can help support hydration from within. Pairing them with foods rich in water-soluble vitamins, such as cucumbers, melons, or citrus, further enhances this effect, creating a synergy between lipids and hydration-promoting nutrients. Over time, you may notice not only smoother skin, but a subtle plumpness, a visible signal that your cells are holding the water and lipids they need to function optimally. Ask yourself, have you observed that topical creams alone often feel insufficient? That's because hydration is fundamentally systemic. True skin resilience requires nourishment from within, supporting the cells, membranes, and structures that retain water and maintain elasticity. By eating nutrient-rich, high-fat cheeses, we are engaging in a form of edible self-care, delivering functional lipids that support the physiology of youth and vitality. Philosophically, this is about more than appearance. Hydration and lipid integration are a metaphor for balance in life, the delicate harmony between what we provide ourselves internally and how that manifests externally. Each bite of carefully chosen cheese becomes a tangible act of care, a quiet affirmation that we can influence our biology and our quality of life through knowledge, intention, and action. As we come to the close of this journey, I invite you to pause and reflect. What if aging is not merely a passive process, but a conversation with our own biology? What if the wrinkles in the mirror are not unchangeable decrees of time, but signals we can respond to messages our cells are sending us, quietly asking for support, repair, and nourishment? Over the course of this talk, we've explored 6 pathways through which certain cheeses can serve as more than food, as tools for rejuvenation, resilience, and vitality. First, we looked at collagen and elastin activation, revealing how bioactive peptides act as molecular foremen, orchestrating the repair of our skin scaffolding. Then we examined oxidative stress, the subtle ticking clock of aging, and how antioxidant compounds in aged cheeses can quench free radicals before they leave visible traces on our skin. We explored the microbiome and its remarkable influence on skin health, showing that probiotics in fermented cheeses act as messengers between our gut and our glow. Anti-inflammatory signaling reminded us that chronic, low-level inflammation accelerates visible aging, but short-chain fatty acids and bioactive lipids in cheese can calm this storm, creating cellular harmony. Next, we delved into methylation and epigenetics, understanding that the instructions within our DNA are not fixed, but flexible. Nutrients in cheese provide the cofactors needed to gently guide gene expression toward repair, rejuvenation, and resilience. Finally, we saw that hydration and lipid integration are fundamental to a supple, plump, and vibrant complexion, and that the fats in high-quality cheeses help reinforce the skin's moisture matrix from within. Taken together, these insights offer a profound shift in perspective. Aging is not a line drawn in sand, but a dynamic interplay of signals, resources, and choices. By choosing specific, nutrient-rich, fermented, and high-fat cheeses, we are not chasing vanity. We are engaging in a deeply human act of empowerment, influencing our biology with intention, pleasure, and knowledge. The takeaway is both simple and profound. You can feed your skin from within, supporting the mechanisms that maintain its strength, resilience, and radiance. Today, you have 6 tangible tools, 6 principles that, when applied mindfully, can transform how your skin ages, how you feel in your body, and even how you experience life itself. So here's the invitation. Choose one cheese this week, savor it, and reflect on its effect not only on taste, but on your body, your cells, your biology. Notice the subtle messages from your skin and your body. Consider this a small, deliberate act of self-care and longevity. If you found value in these insights, please like, subscribe, and share your reflections in the comments. Tell us where you are joining from and how you plan to integrate these ideas into your life. Together, we are building a community that honors human potential, not as an abstract concept, but as a lived, practiced reality. Remember the question we began with, what if time is not the enemy? As we've seen, with intention, knowledge, and the right nutrients, time becomes not a force of decline, but a canvas on which we can paint resilience, vitality, and the possibility of thriving skin and life well beyond what we imagined.